Hello, this is ELB. Let's get back to work. So last time we got ourselves a really simple walk animation working, and we also got our sword swinging working just a bit better as well. So how the sword is looking, swings any direction we need it to, can't move while it's swinging, and we face, whatever direction that we're aiming in. Anyhow, part of the reason we actually set up this walking system is because we needed to be able to have the player take little steps forward when they swing a sword. So, now all this means is we need to have the animation be able to move the player as well. So, part of what I'm thinking is that we need to be able to output or change the way that we handle movement. We need to be able to have it so that the stick pushes to movement, to a different section of code that is movement, but the stick doesn't do anything when no move is on. This then means that we can also push movement from other places, and it'll work exactly the same. It will let us have our whatchamacallit working, our collisions working just as they need to be. So what I'm thinking is different things will be able to add to the movement for that step. Just like how we have it so that different things can add to no move or no dash. Actually, now that I think of it, I kind of want to look at dashing. Because with the way that we set things up, dashing should use the walk animation. It does slightly. Or it does. It's difficult to see though. So, let's see here then. If we're gonna get this to work, let's take a look. We have moving right here. Fair X movement. Where are we getting that? So what I'm thinking is this. We're going to change this from a temporary variable, and instead we're going to make it a permanent variable that will then get reset. So do that real quick. This means that we're going to be changing the way dodge movement works. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to move moving. I'm going to cut you. I'm going to paste you. Okay? So this then means that we need to have... Oh, come on. There we go. How many pixels the player will move this step? Okay. And we'll just, how many pixels up or down the player will move this step, left or right. There we go. Okay. So this then means that we can remove this. I'll add a plus onto that. And here, just in case, we'll do that there instead. Meaning we don't need to have this here. So I don't think we're going to need any of this. We can move all this downwards. So movement and collision detection. Okay. And then instead I'm going to put no movement over here. No moving equals 0. Shift tab. Shift tab. I'm going to sneeze in a moment. There we go. We can move this over here. Left stick active equals true. we can move this over here as well. Remove this altogether. And I think that should be fine. Okay. So that should be fine. Okay, we're gonna do this then. Dodge speed. Dodge speed. Okay, and then what is it that we want? We can just do still needs to be this rather than the temporary variable. Forgot to do that. So then that means that this can be x movement plus equals y movement plus equals. Okay. So we're gonna know how much we move. Hold on. So sorry, I'm being really quiet here. So the thing that I'm looking at here is I have this set up so that it goes based upon the player's speed. That's not what we want. We want it to go a certain amount depending upon the X and Y movement. So what am I looking for? And then we're gonna, here, we'll do this, times player speed times player speed. Okay. This will ensure that we're getting the full player speed in the X and Y movement. So we need to change the way it functions entirely then. So what we're going to do then is we need to find a way to here. I think I'm going to be changing this so it's not going to be X and Y movement in this part at all. Instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use X and Y movement to determine how many units I'm going to be moving per step. So, how do I want to do that? Well, let's look at this pragmatically real quick. So, we know, so let's say that we're moving in a way where we're moving one left, or so we're going to be moving one to the right, and we're going to be moving 5 upwards. So this is going to be in a single step, we're moving that. So we want to keep things even, right? To ensure that we don't, that's the word I'm looking for. We want to keep things even to ensure that we don't move, you know, way over to the right or way up and then collide with something instead of doing it like sort of evenly, if that makes any sense. So ideally we'd be going through this for loop and we'd doing, okay, a fifth to the right and one up, a fifth to the right and one up, a fifth to the right and one up 5 times. So what we can do is we can find the larger of the two numbers, which shouldn't be too difficult. Oh. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to look in our math, because I think there is, yeah, it returns the largest. So we got that. Although we only have 2 variables here. So okay, so how to explain this? So the idea is we would, well, but what if it was 5.5? So if it was like this, we would want to get the larger of the two, which would be y, and then we would want to divide y, or y divided by the ceiling of y, okay? And then we would want to divide x by the ceil of y as well, so that we have even numbers. This is going to ensure that we're moving less than a pixel per roundabout through the for loop. So this shouldn't be too difficult. Okay. So we're going to use what we're going to call var we'll call it movement unit number, or movement units. And then if x movement, oh, hold on, if abs x movement is larger than abs y movement. Need to get that right. Okay. Okay, so here. First, we're determining what, first we're determining how fine of movement we need in the for loop. Okay, there we go. So then there, we'll call it that, I guess, var y units. Okay. So in this case, we're gonna do, so because x movement is larger, we're gonna do var movement units is equal to the ceiling, or I guess I had that backwards, whatever, the ceiling of the absolute value of x movement wait, no, we need the absolute value of x movement divided by, there we go. So this would mean that with 5.5, it would be 5.5 divided by 6, which should be exactly what we need. Or which should be, however, no, wait, hold on. So then var movement units would be equal to the ceil of the abs of x movement. Which means we can just do divided by var movement units. Which means var y units would equal to abs y movement divided by var movement units. Units. Come on. Okay, cool. So now we can just copy this over. And we're going to change one character. Okay. So if y, or if I is lower than var movement units, then it's going to be x plus var x units and y plus y, or var y units. Oh, hello. We're missing a semicolon. Okay, var x, nope, y units. There we go. I think it's all complete. Let's see how it looks. Oh god! What just happened? That is not at all what I want. Holy crud. I have two things that I can think of that was the problem there. For one, so X movement needs to be equal to 0, and Y movement needs to be equal to 0. So that will solve our going super fast problem. What that did not solve, or more like will not solve, is moving the wrong direction. We were only moving rightwards and downwards, which was the no matter what positive of the input that we were putting in, which means we need to remove this absolute right here, and we should be back to good. Okay. That feels correct. Okay, let's try putting in mud and seeing if it still works. Well, not only mud, but here, we'll do this. We'll put in some mud. We'll put in a rock to pick up and walk around with. We're getting very sufficiently slowed down. Okay. Alright, cool. Seems like it's working. Okay, with this all taken care of, we should be able to use our sword swinging system to make it so that you take a little step forward. And because movement is now all taken place right here, we know that there shouldn't be any real conflicts. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to go into our scripts, we're going to take a look at this. So what we want is a direction to move for both parts of the, or for all three. And we also need or for all, so I guess it's all 6 parts. Both parts of the wind-up, both parts of the attack, and both parts of the recovery. So, you know, if you're facing down, you might take a step down slightly, or you might take a little bit of a step back to prepare to swing this big sword, and then a step forward, and then another little step forward when you recover. Or it might even be a slight step back for the recovery, who knows. It'll all depend on the attack, of course. So we need a direction and an amount of movement. Now, normally this direction will probably just be 0, because it'll be the direction that we're facing. But if we need to move a little bit to our left, then it'll be put to 90, you know, something along those lines. Okay, so wind up, move direction mid equals 0, var created sword id dot wind up move direction end. Oh. Okay, then we need var created sword id dot wind up move amount mid equals, we'll say 0 for now, var created sword id dot wind up So the way I'm currently planning on coding this isn't going to be the amount that we move throughout the entire thing. It's going to be the amount that we move every step. So it's going to probably be a small number most of the time. Less than 1 even. Come on. I really need to get a new mouse. This one hasn't been functioning right. So we're changing this from wind up to attack. Okay. Now we're replacing it with recovery. There we go. Okay. Now let's get out our sword. Time for attack state 1. Okay, so all we need to do is this. Creator id dot Actually, hold on a moment. So, let me go through my thought process. We know that the amount that we want to move, but that does not mean that we have actually calculated whether we're going to be moving up, down, left, or right, as in our x and y coordinates, I should be saying. Just because it says 0, that doesn't mean that we know that we're going to actually be moving to the right, because it's going off of, where we're aiming currently. So, let's fix that in a moment. I'm gonna... Oh, geez, my legs hurt. Started working out yesterday with a personal trainer, and today I was supposed to get in 500 calories of cardio. I got in 250 before I started getting lightheaded. I am really not in shape right now. Okay. Sorry, grabbing a drink. A little bit of orange juice shouldn't hurt. So, I'm thinking that we're going to do the same thing that we did with the... I cannot see my screen right now, by the way. I'm in my kitchen. But you can, dear viewer. So you can see the part that says do not touch or do not change or something along those lines. From here, I can't quite see what it says. But we're going to be doing the same thing as that, where it's going to be then calculating something, aka our actual x and y movement for that step. And then we're going to be adding it to the thing. Okay, I got my orange juice. So what did that say? Why did I do that? It wasn't calculating anything. I was literally just creating a variable and then moving the variable again. That was a bit useless. That's kind of silly. I must have been really tired yesterday. So we know it's going to be the same thing for all of these, so why not? Yeah, I really don't know what I was thinking there. Here, you know what? There we go. Okay, so here's what we're going to be doing. You know what? Here, actually, this is what I'm going to do. Rather than having the calculations happen there, I'm going to have the calculations happen here. It's not actually necessary that that be at the end, but I'm doing that anyway. Okay. This is not necessary. So we will use that space right now instead. Oh. So there we go. So now we just need this. So we're gonna call it wind up move X mid and wind up move Y mid, then of course wind up move X end and wind up move Y end. There we go. So this is going to be equal to length dir X, and you're going to be wind up move direction, no, wind up move amount mid and wind up move, come on, move direction mid. There we go. Then you can be length dir Y. You're not going to be mid, you're going to be end. Okay. Wind up attack. We're gonna find wind up and replace with attack. Oh, come on. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay. We're doing that again. Except for replacing wind up with recovery. Recovery. There we go. So, now that we've done that, we can actually make it happen. Okay. So creator id dot x movement equals to wind up move x mid. Oh, not equals to, but plus equals to, just in case. So creator id dot y movement plus equals wind up move y mid. Then we replace this with end. Alright. Let's check attack state 2 and do it again. Rather than being wind up, you're going to be attack. Okay, what song just came on? Aventine by Agnes Obel. Not what I'm used to listening to, but it sounds pretty. There we go. We're nearly there. We're replacing you with recovery. That wasn't right at all. End. Okay. So everything should be correct. Now I'm going to give it a swing. We will not move at all this time because everything is set to 0, but we are simply making sure we're not getting any errors. No errors, okay. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to move forward with the wind-up and backwards with the recovery. We're not going to be moving during the attack itself. So this is just a test, once again. And we are going to be moving in the direction that we're facing. Hopefully. Look at that. Now, you've probably noticed that we're slowly moving backwards. That is, of course, because the recovery takes longer than the wind-up. Okay, looks like we forgot to do something. This is why we test, of course. So in attack state 0, this is what we're going to do. Let's wind up move direction plus creator id dot player aim direction. So player aim direction will probably change to something later on to ensure that it can be used by enemies as well. Because for now it doesn't make a lot of sense. You know, for an enemy to have player aim direction, so it'll probably just be like character aim direction or something like that. Okay, still going the right direction. Look at that. Well, hold on a moment. The wind-up and the I'm looking at this now, and the wind-up and the recovery time are both the exact same amount. So, should we be moving different amounts? You'd think that you shouldn't. So why is that then? I'm gonna give this a test. I'm gonna change this to 9. Just to see what happens. Looks like we're not changing at all, which is what we want. but it should be the exact same for only moving one unit. So we have movement in the end step, which means that the step position shouldn't matter. Thinking about this though, I'm actually going to switch this up to ensure that we don't move straight from one state into another state without any pausing or waiting for the next step to happen. So that, I doubt that'll affect anything, but let's take a look. Wait, really? Was that actually affecting it? What? Okay, hold on. They're both at what they should be. So, what? How the heck? I might have messed something up. Recovery move X, recovery move Y. Recovery move X, recovery move Y. Attack move X, attack move Y, attack move X, attack move Y, which should be set to 0. Attack move amount. So unless I screwed something up, everything should be correct. It's all attack move X and attack move Y. Wind up. Recovery. Mid is in the right place. And end is in the right place. Everything is looking correct. So why were you doing that then? Oh, come on. I do not know. Oh, you know what? I think I do know. It was getting an extra step in the moving back one because it had that chance to reset the timer in the middle of the step. So it had one extra step where the timer was at 0 as opposed to 1, which is exactly what was causing our problem. Never noticed it before. So the sword swing is probably slightly different looking now, although I cannot actually tell by looking at it. Huh. Okay. I might change it so that has some easing options for that, but for now, I'm not going to worry about it. Um, so on that note, I think I'm going to call this good for now. I have to leave for class here in a few minutes. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day.